I remember a conversation I had with a dear friend of mine, a retired teacher named Margaret. Sharp as a tack at 72, but she started forgetting little things. Where she put her keys, a name from her book club. She told me she just assumed it was normal aging and there was nothing she could do about it. But then she made one small change to her diet, just removing a few things from her daily routine, and the difference in her clarity, her energy, her entire outlook was like night and day. It made me think, what if the very foods we think are harmless, the ones we eat for convenience or out of habit, are actually quietly working against our brains? Today, we're going to talk about three of them, foods so common that many seniors don't realize they could be causing brain fog, slow thinking, and memory slips. And the third one, well, it's probably sitting in your pantry right now, disguised as a health food. So grab a glass of water, settle in, and let's shine a light on these three sneaky culprits so you can keep your mind feeling sharp, clear, and young for years to come. Let's start with the first brain-aging food, and it's something many of us turn to when we want a quick, easy meal. I'm talking about highly processed vegetable oils. Now, this doesn't sound as obvious as a sugary donut, does it? But oils like soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil are hidden in so many foods in the American diet, from store-bought salad dressings and mayonnaise to crackers, chips, and even those roasted nuts you buy at the supermarket. As we get older, our brains are especially vulnerable to something called inflammation. Think of inflammation like a slow, simmering fire inside your body that, over time, can damage healthy cells, including the delicate cells in your brain responsible for memory and focus. These refined oils are packed with omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6s aren't all bad. We need a small amount. But the problem is, we get far too many of them, and not enough of the protective omega-3s found in fish and flax seeds. This imbalance is like pouring gasoline on that inflammatory fire. Studies have linked a high intake of these processed oils to a faster rate of cognitive decline. So, what can you do? It's simpler than you think. Start reading your labels. If a product lists soybean oil or corn oil as one of the first ingredients, put it back on the shelf. At home, try cooking with olive oil, which is packed with brain-protective compounds, or avocado oil for higher heat cooking. This one swap, moving away from those harsh, industrially processed oils, could be a massive win for your long-term brain health and might just be the reason you remember every grandchild's name at the next family dinner. Now, let's move on to the second food that could be aging your brain faster than you realize. And it's not just the obvious desserts. It's the hidden sugar in foods marketed as smart choices for seniors. I'm talking about those low-fat yogurts, instant oatmeal packets, breakfast bars, and even bottled smoothies. Food companies know we're trying to eat well, so they slap a label on the front that says heart healthy or made with whole grains, but then they pump it full of added sugar to make it taste good after stripping out the fat. Here's why this is so risky for our brains after 60. When you eat a lot of sugar, especially hidden sugar on an empty stomach, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes. Over time, these constant spikes and crashes can lead to insulin resistance, which some scientists are now calling type 3 diabetes in the brain. Simply put, your brain cells struggle to get the energy they need to function properly, leading to that awful brain fog, trouble finding the right word, and a sluggish memory. Think of it this way. Your brain is a high-performance engine, and you're feeding it fuel that gums up the works. The practical tip here is to become a sugar detective. Flip that package over and look for words like corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, or evaporated cane juice. The real shocker is often that little cup of fruit-flavored yogurt, which can pack more sugar than a candy bar. Instead, buy plain yogurt and toss in some fresh blueberries yourself. The natural sweetness from the fruit is all you need, and the antioxidants in those berries are like a shield for your brain cells. This brings us to the third and final food. And as I hinted at in the beginning, this one often masquerades as a health food. It's anything labeled diet or sugar-free. Many seniors turn to these products, diet sodas, sugar-free cookies, or those little packets of sweetener for their coffee, because they're trying to manage their weight or blood sugar, which is a great goal. The problem is the ingredient used to sweeten them. Artificial sweeteners, particularly aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin. Your brain is a complex organ, and it uses chemical messengers called neurotransmitters to send signals. Emerging research suggests that regular consumption of these artificial sweeteners can disrupt this delicate balance. But perhaps even more troubling is their effect on your gut microbiome. The trillions of good bacteria living in your digestive system. We now know there's a direct line of communication between your gut and your brain, often called the gut-brain axis. When these artificial sweeteners alter your gut bacteria, it can send stress signals to the brain, contributing to mood problems and, over time, affecting how clearly you think. I knew a gentleman who proudly drank 3 diet sodas a day, thinking he was doing his body a favor by avoiding sugar. When he finally cut them out and switched to sparkling water with a squeeze of lemon, he told me the constant, low-grade brain fog he'd lived with for years finally lifted. It took about a week, but he felt sharper and more present. So, my advice is to let your taste buds adjust. Try infusing your water with cucumber, mint, or strawberries. If you need a sweetener in your coffee, a very small amount of real maple syrup or honey offers trace nutrients. Or consider stevia or monk fruit, which are natural, plant-based options that don't appear to have the same negative effects on the brain. Before we wrap up, I promised you a bonus tip. It's not a food, but it works powerfully alongside what you eat. It's the simplest thing in the world, but many seniors don't realize its direct link to brain health. And that's water. Plain, pure water. Just mild dehydration can cause your brain tissue to shrink slightly, forcing it to work much harder to perform simple cognitive tasks. You might not even feel thirsty, but you might feel unfocused or a little confused. As we get older, our thirst signals naturally weaken, so we have to be intentional. Try this. Every morning, before you have your coffee or tea, drink a full glass of water. It's like giving your brain a morning shower, waking up those cells after a long night of fasting. It's a zero-cost, powerful habit that complements everything we've talked about today. So, let's quickly recap. The 3 foods to watch out for are the refined vegetable oils hiding in packaged foods that fuel inflammation, the hidden sugars and low-fat products that starve your brain of steady energy, and the artificial sweeteners and diet items that confuse your brain and gut. Your brain has a remarkable ability to heal and stay strong at any age, and it starts with the small, daily choices you make in your kitchen. Taking care of it doesn't have to be complicated. It's about going back to real, simple foods, the kind your grandparents would have recognized. If this video brought even one moment of clarity, I'd be so grateful if you'd tap the like button. It really helps this message reach other seniors just like you. And if you'd love more simple, honest advice on feeling your best after 60, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. I want you to think back to a morning a few months ago. You woke up, walked into the kitchen, poured yourself a bowl of that heart-healthy granola, added a spoonful of low-fat yogurt, and stirred a packet of sugar substitute into your coffee. You probably felt good about those choices. You were doing what the labels told you was right. But by 10 o'clock, you felt foggy, sluggish, and maybe a little down, and you couldn't figure out why. That was me. Or at least, that was the version of me who hadn't yet learned what I'm sharing with you today. Sometimes the foods we trust the most are the ones holding us back from the sharp, vibrant, energetic life we deserve after 60. This is the missing piece of our conversation, the part where everything comes together and you finally see the full picture of how to protect your beautiful, brilliant mind for all the precious years ahead. Let's revisit that first culprit one more time, those vegetable oils, because I want you to fully understand what's at stake and feel empowered, not scared. Imagine the membrane of every brain cell as a tiny, flexible balloon. That membrane is made mostly of fat. When you eat a lot of those processed oils, the walls of your brain cells become rigid and inflamed, like a balloon that's been blown up and left in the sun. Messages between cells slow down. That's why you might walk into a room and forget why you went in there, or struggle to pull up a name you've known for 20 years. But here is the beautiful truth that should give you so much hope. Your brain is constantly rebuilding itself, even in your 70s, even in your 80s. It's called neuroplasticity. When you switch those bad oils out for the good fats in olive oil, fatty fish, walnuts, and avocados, you are literally giving your brain the building blocks to create healthy, flexible, fast-firing new connections. I remember an elderly gentleman named Robert who told me his wife started cooking exclusively with olive oil and adding a small piece of salmon to their weekly menu. 3 months later, he beat his grandson at chess for the first time in years. He said it felt like someone had wiped a dusty window clean inside his head. That could be you. It's never too late to rebuild. Now, let's talk again about that hidden sugar, because its long game is even sneakier than we first discussed. Beyond the daily fog, consistent blood sugar spikes actually damage the tiny blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your brain. Think of those vessels as the delivery roads that bring supplies to a bustling city. Over time, high sugar turns those smooth roads into pothole-ridden streets. The delivery trucks can't get through efficiently. Parts of the city, parts of your brain become undernourished and start to fade. This isn't just about memory. It's about your mood, your patience, your ability to feel joy when you see a sunset or hear your grandchild laugh. The fix, however, is so wonderfully gentle. You don't need to give up sweetness. You just need to rediscover it in its whole natural form. A ripe summer peach, a handful of cherries, a baked sweet potato with a sprinkle of cinnamon. When you eat the whole fruit instead of drinking the juice or eating a processed bar, the natural fiber acts as a buffer, slowing down sugar absorption so your brain gets a steady, calm stream of energy instead of a chaotic flood. Think of it as reading a beautiful, slow novel instead of flickering through a dozen frantic news headlines. It's a different kind of nourishment, one your brain deeply craves. And that third food, the artificial sweetener, I want to leave you with a deeper understanding of that one because it's the most hidden saboteur. Your gut is often called your second brain, but for many seniors, it's more accurate to call it the first responder. The bacteria down there produce about 90% of your body's serotonin, that's your happiness and calmness chemical, and a massive amount of other neurotransmitters that dictate how clearly you think. When you consume a diet drink, those chemical sweeteners are like a wildfire tearing through a forest floor. They wipe out colonies of good, friendly bacteria that have been with you for decades. A disrupted gut sends constant SOS signals to the brain, manifesting as anxiety you can't explain, a sense of mental static that never quite clears. The most heartwarming stories I hear are from seniors who gave up the artificial stuff almost as an afterthought, and a few weeks later their family tells them they seem brighter, more present, funnier. They got their personality back. They just hadn't realized how much of it had been dulled. And I promised you a deeper bonus insight to tie this all together. It's not another thing to avoid, but a gentle habit to add. And it's called mindful eating. As we get older, we sometimes eat in a rush, or while watching the news, or standing up at the counter. This puts our bodies in a low-grade stress state, which blocks proper digestion and nutrient absorption, meaning even the healthiest food can't fully reach your brain. Here's what I want you to try for just one meal. Sit down. Take 3 slow breaths before you even pick up your fork. Look at the colors on your plate. The green of the broccoli, the deep purple of the beet, the healthy golden shimmer of olive oil. Smell it. Then take a bite and chew it 20 times, really tasting the flavors. This simple act shifts your nervous system into a rest and digest mode, where your body is primed to extract every last brain-protective nutrient from the food you work so hard to prepare. This isn't just eating. This is a daily act of healing. So, here is the summary I want you to carry with you like a trusted friend. To keep your brain firing with clarity and vitality, you gently remove the 3 aging imposters, the industrial seed oils that make your brain cells stiff, the hidden sugars that starve your brain of steady fuel, and the artificial sweeteners that disrupt the beautiful, ancient conversation between your gut and your mind. In their place, you welcome the good fats, the whole colorful fruits, and the deep peace of eating without distraction, knowing each choice is an investment in the memories you have yet to make and the stories you have yet to tell. You deserve a mind that feels awake, curious, and fully alive every single morning. This isn't about a rigid diet that leaves you feeling deprived. It's about liberation, freeing your mind from the foods that have been quietly dulling its brilliance. If this message felt like a conversation you needed to hear, please let me know by liking this video. Your engagement truly matters because it helps this channel reach more wonderful people just like you, people who are determined to live their later years with clarity and grace. And if your heart is telling you that it's time to prioritize your own well-being, subscribe and join this growing community. We're in this together. Thank you for your time, your trust, and your beautiful willingness to keep learning. Until next time, be kind to your body, be gentle with your mind, and I'll see you soon.